2022 has certainly seen its fair share of zombie games, but only a few have managed to firmly take us by the neck hairs. Which of the many has struggled and plucked the most with their post-apocalyptic worlds? Here's our take on the 5 most popular zombie games. Before we begin, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more intriguing videos like this. And be sure to watch this video till the end. Therefore, anytime we upload a new video, you will be notified so that you won't miss out on interesting videos from us. So, without any further ado, let's get started. 5. After the Fall Season 2. One of the saddest things we see far too often in the gaming industry these days is that truly fantastic titles are being released too rapidly. As a result, games have numerous flaws and bugs and receive bad feedbacks from the player base. Even more disheartening is that the game frequently only required hosting an open beta for interested players, testing the servers and controls with a range of people, and then being cleaned up to launch the following month or two. This conditions is met fairly effectively by Vertigo Games' After the Fall. Starting the game, you have jumped into what has to be the worst designed tutorial I have ever seen, with just half-explained explanations and the reminder of the tutorial left to the users to figure out. This may be a frustrating experience. Essentially, everything is done through arcade cabinets, which were discovered to be capable of being transformed into stash dispensaries by the survivor of this harsh society. So, if you're stuck for ideas, just gaze at the arcade cabinet and it'll point you in the right direction. With controls this precise, they really should have built a tutorial that guided you through each step in greater detail. But they chose to design a very simple instructional and trust people into the action. Just remember to take your time figuring out the controls before diving into the actions. And when you look around the hub, remember that the arcade cabinets do all the lobby searching, the lady gives missions, and the gun range in the back is where you can modify and purchase unlocked guns to use in your future missions. When it comes to the mission themselves, you will complete them in portions. As you progress through the levels, you will reach a safe area where you may buy supplies such as pipe bombs and health. Use these opportunities to replenish your health and keep at least one spare health in your inventory. You will only fight a few distinct types of enemies. There are ordinary zombies, snow breed, exploiters, brutes, juggernauts, and the boss, who is a big brute with eyes on his weak points. The next component to discuss is the game's PvP mode, known as Tundra Dome. This mode truly feels like a 4 vs 4 battle royale, as all of the guns are scattered over the map and you must fight your way to the one you want. It's a fun option for goofing around or having a good 1v1 with a friend, but it wasn't the game's main focus for me. 4. The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners. Skydance Interactive's The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners is a virtual reality first-person shooter survival horror game for Windows, PlayStation 4, Oculus Quest, and Oculus Quest 2. It is based on Robert Kirkman's comic book series The Walking Dead. It was first launched on Steam and the Oculus platform on January 23, 2020, and then on PlayStation's VR in May 2020. Walkers can be killed by braining them, which involves stabbing them through the skull and puncturing the brain. The players can ambush foes by scaling structures and attacking from a distance with throwing weapons, bows, and long-range weaponry. Melee weapons are controlled via physics-based combat. The game, The Bells, has a timer where the tower strikes the bell to stir the herd after a set amount of time. When the bell rings, a horde appears and pursues the player. The trial is an alternative game option that is available on all existing platforms. The players must fight zombies in the game mode to gain Bitcoin, which can be spent to unlock more supplies. The trial is available on 3 maps, each with 2 difficulties. Hanging zombies can emerge on the map and can be shot or stabbed for a double bonus boost, with shooting granting food that when eaten grants the player infinite ammo and weapon durability, and using a melee weapon granting them infinite weapon durability and infinite stamina. On September 23, 2021, a free update dubbed Aftershocks was published. It takes place after the game's main story. It is intended to enrich the experience with the new endgame materials such as quests, plot elements, and dangers. The players will be deployed to get supplies for the base. 3. The Living Remain VR. Grant Montgomery, a former soldier, is the protagonist of The Living Remain. Montgomery is hunting for his family after the zombie outbreak, with the help of a woman named Alex, who is in constant radio communications with him throughout the game. During his adventure, Montgomery does 2 things: kill zombies and figure out where he needs to go next. In the meantime, he solves puzzles and eliminates other deceased beings. Unlike other zombie VR games, The Living Remains boasts mostly seamless gameplay. Reloading and physics operate well, satisfying both hardcore and visual and casual gamers. Let's go over the game's essential components. Climbing, Works pretty well, though you must be careful not to get stuck in obstacles. In these situations, the VR headset goes black, and you must maneuver your head or torso to avoid the obstacle. However, this is a minor flaw. The climbing sections are smooth in comparison to other games I've played. Puzzles. In various areas of the game, I had to watch YouTube walkthroughs to figure out what to do next. It's not that the problems were too difficult to solve, I just didn't notice the suggestions. Maybe I've just been too soft and spoiled in recent years by the shiny locations and games. By the shiny locations the game showed me after 10 seconds of being lost. Gunplay. After a few zombie kills, you grow used to the weaponry, and it's relatively easy to aim for the head. Some gamers say the gunplay is clumsy, but I think it's just great and enjoyable. Gun handling. The firing and reloading sounds might be louder. It makes sense that the main character attempts to be as quiet as possible in a zombie-infested world, but it would have been more entertaining if he smashed the magazine into the pistol as loudly as possible. Weapon choice. It's a small yet excellent variety of well-known weaponry. We get to utilize a variety of handguns, SMGs, assault weapons, and shotgun. Collision system. The living remain, thankfully, contains a well-functioning collision systems. This means that weapons cannot be moved through solid components. Although they can be used to push buttons, for example, nothing beats a working collision systems for immersion. 2. Requisition. Arcadius' forthcoming co-op VR title Requisitions VR is the studio behind well-known VR titles like Gentrix and Hinge. Requisitions is set in a zombie apocalypse, and you must defend yourself from all manners of frightening beasts that may come your way while fighting alone or with up to 3 buddies. Requisitions features a wide range of creative gameplay that is ideal for VR. You can make weapons, blast blades out of toasters, and set up other traps. The Requisitions can be played in a variety of ways. How you choose to play the game is heavily influenced by the weapons you use. There are around 300 items available for crafting various weapons and traps. These are common objects that can be found throughout the game. There are few restrictions on the kinds of weapons you can obtain by just designing them. You can also employ any objects found in melee combat. However, their effectiveness may vary greatly. 1. Resident Evil Village. Resident Evil Village is a survival horror game released in 2021 by Capcom. It is the follow-up to Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. Players take control of Ethan Winters, who is looking for his kidnapped daughter, in a mutant-infested community. The survival horror features from earlier Resident Evil games are retained in Village, with players scavenging locations for objects and managing supplies. It does, however, introduce more action-oriented gameplay with more enemies and a larger emphasis on combat. Resident Evil Village is like its predecessor, Resident Evil 7 Biohazard is played in the first person. It is set in a wintry, explorable Eastern European village that has been described as ripped darkly from the Victorian era, and it is far larger and more immersive than its predecessor. Buildings and structures in the central village can be scaled and used to battle adversaries. The game is more action-oriented than Biohazard, with protagonist Ethan Winters now equipped with additional combat skills as a result of military training. The game's main foes, the werewolf Lycans, are not only agile and intelligent, but they can also wield weapons to attack in packs, forcing the players to ponder whether to utilize limited ammunitions, engage in melee combat, or simply flee. To ward off adversaries, similar to Resident Evil 4, homemade barricades can be constructed. The inventory systems is similar to Resident Evil 4, with a briefcase and the options to move and rotate objects for more storage space. The Duke is a merchant that sells supplies, weapons, upgrades, and artifacts to players. The players can even hunt animals in the settlement and have the Duke cook them into delicacies. Eating side dishes grants the player advantages such as reducing damage taken while blocking. Treasures and artifacts can be discovered throughout the village and sold to the Duke for money. And that's all for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please like it and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on another wonderful video from us. Till next time.